What are we doing here?
We're looking at a property. It's 50% vacant. That means there's fat on the deal.
There's no fat on Ben Jr. anymore.
There's still some
48% fat, body fat.
There's still some in our company. Anyway, we're at one of the nicest buildings in one of the nicest areas. A building that's for sale that has half of it as a bank that is not going anywhere anytime soon. I think until 2104. I've never even seen something.
I got 5-year options. The one thing about retail is you never know. Nothing's promised. Yes, they have long leases, but in between those leases, they have options. Okay, so every 5 years, they can either exercise their option or not. If they exercise it, they go for another 5 years. If they don't, they pack up and leave. But typically, if you're dealing with a strong brand and a big company, especially one traded on the stock exchange, typically they're gonna stay for the long haul. There's no reason for them to move out unless something dramatically happens in the market that changes things. Now, I will tell you, a lot of banks are closing down their branches in areas that don't have a lot of deposits. This happens to be a very affluent area, so this branch should have a lot of deposits. So if it has a lot of deposits, that means it's got a lot of customers and they're making money here. This, as far as the tenant goes, is AAA. The location is AAA. But this is a 50-year-old building, and this is definitely a residential retail area. The whole top floor is empty. It's about 8,000 square feet. Who's gonna wanna go in there? It's set up to be offices. People aren't renting offices right now, but maybe we get a doctor, maybe we get a lawyer, maybe we have to sit down and make a list of who our prospects could be. We don't know. But if it's half empty, there's an opportunity to make some money if we get it for the right price. This place needs parking lot redone. And is there a potential for an out parcel? It has a very huge lot. These are all the things you gotta look at. You gotta look at the good, the bad, and the ugly. So who knows? Maybe we'll move our own office here and sell our old office. I don't know. But the most important thing is these guys gotta sit down and look at the numbers. Maybe we can even add on some property there. If you go through the lease and make sure they have no rights to stop us, and we can add on an out parcel like you did twice already. These are possibilities. He's got to look into it. He's got to read every word of the lease. He's got to look at the amendments, and we got to figure out what the income and the expenses are. That's where the real homework comes in. You got to sit down, lock yourself in a room with all the data and understand the project. You got to know everything because these projects can get very technical. What you can do, what you can't do, how much money they got to pay, how much you can charge them, all these factors, and that's what he's got to sit down and do now. And after that, he's going to call me up, and we're going to sit down and go over everything. He's going to get a free consult. The question is, if the city would allow us to cut out an out parcel, we could be looking at $1 million right here upside, right off the bat. You got to know the entitlements to real estate. What can you do with it? If we can cut out a piece of this property here and say, okay, that's worth $1 million.
I mean, and then now you took
now
this
we're down,
to,
and we buy this for two.
Now you're down to $1 million. And that makes it.
And then if you rent the upstairs, then you're golden.
Now you're like at an 8 cap.
More than that.
800. Yeah.
If you give them $2 million, and then you
sell this for $1 million,
and then you do it for $1 million, and then you rent the upstairs for $7,000, and you rent it for $7,000. Now you got $14,000 a month coming in for $1 million. You got a 14% return.
Earn on your money. Yeah.
Thinking about doing a real estate deal? Get me on the phone. I have over 30 years experience and have bought and sold over $1 billion worth of real estate. You can get me on the phone, you can have a private meeting, and we can even do lunch, baby. Go to benmal.com/shop and book a consult today.